Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the USA Cycling League. We are out on the London Loop today on Zwift's London Loop for race number 8. I'm Nathan Guerra. I've got next to me Dave Toll coming at you virtually for this race out here. 2 laps London Loop. Gonna be a lot of suffering on Box Hill today. They've been doing it like under 6 minutes at the front end of some of these elite races for the men and the women's. I think about 6.5 to 7. That's all out effort 2 times pretty much to win this race, I think, Dave.
This one's going to hurt. No doubt about it. When you look at what Box Hill is, this was the original pain cave in the world of Zwift, I'd have to say. And I mean, there's more guys have given up hope on this climb to win a race than anywhere else in the world, I would say. part of the infamous Olympic course from the 2012 games. This was quite a day of racing, no doubt. Taylor Phinney ended up 4th on this day. He could get up that climb. So it's going to be an interesting day, no doubt about it. All the heavy hitters are out here for the men and the women. The women will be starting 5 minutes out. Men already out on course. A nice guy to pick it up with. Nathan, I know I mentioned yesterday, but how cool is it to see today? I think I said it was over $70,000 yesterday for the GoFundMe for the Legion team out of LA. It's over $85,000 now. So these guys have really caught the tiger by the tail as far as just the support coming from the cycling community for Tyler Williams' team. He's an outstanding. Actually, Nathan, we don't sing his praises enough, to tell you the truth. Let's just touch on some points. 30K of racing. Nathan mentioned we're doing 2 laps. This is the London Loop, USA Cycling's race league, brought to you by Indoor Specialist. We'll talk about USA Cycling and exciting news there. But yeah, part of that news is that one of the teams in their family, Legion, is almost getting close to $100,000 in support. Nathan, you and I have talked off air about how just heartwarming that is.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And, with their focus on junior development being such a huge thing and the development of the sport, I think all the time bringing cycling to more and more. And, I did see Guyman yesterday or the day before do it over on YouTube as well, do a little bit of a shout out of how much things are growing with cycling right now with the pandemic and everything. And so just the reality of lots of people jumping into cycling right now, the growth of cycling. And that's what this is, what they're really all about, obviously, is bringing a whole lot of new flavor as well to the world of cycling. Absolutely love it. So Williams here up toward the front here, 2.7 was becoming pretty chill. It looks like it was a fast and furious start from the get-go here. As things settle on down, it's about 2:41 to the start of the women's race. We will be covering the women's A's race as well as the men's A race out here today. And as things do calm down, looks like everybody's made the initial kick that is Zwift Racing. So let's go ahead and take a quick little look over at the GC standings. There are a lot of races going on throughout the day. You can get involved in this racing still. Obviously, since they are taking your best 7 of 10 races, and we are on race number 8. If you're just seeing this for the first time, sure, you can jump into a race and have a couple of scratch races, but cannot really get into the overall standings to compete for these. But A, B, C, D category racing, both men and women's, separate events each. So let's go ahead and take a quick look here. Brett Boniface currently, that's going to be Lauren Stevens.
We'll get to that in a sec, right?
There we go. That's actually Lauren Stevens at the top of the women's, but here's Brett Boniface at the top. Yeah, we'll visit that in a second. Boniface, Hodges, second. Vigo Moore, Cormac McGee, looks like. Gel Power coming out of Belgium. Then it's going to be Mike Heumann, Twig, George Mias Keeling, Par Backer, and James Bevan. Shout out to George Mias Keeling, who's also streaming his racing right now. But, and real quick, Boniface riding for the dropouts out with injury. So that is going to really have some change-ups here as Vigo Moore from BRT, Cormac McGee, Brian Hodges, they're all going to be really, I think, looking to try and do something to bump up their results over these last 3 races. As I'm not sure Brett's going to be back anytime soon. We'll have to wait and see.
It's interesting, isn't it, when you look at how tempted he will be to come back, Nathan, if these points get distributed amongst some new names, and we'll see. But, let's jump right in. I'll take a look at Blake Herbold here, leading in the B group, Dustin Byers. And you can see how Dustin has listed his USA Cycling number. They use that for a specific breakout for USA Cycling riders only. So just a heads up there if you'd like to be included in those results. If you carry a USA Cycling license, which I hope you do, it makes a big difference, to be honest. If you are on the fence about renewing your license, just do it. They really could use the support. And I know you're part of the cycling family. They called him the mayor of Boulder. That's Chuck Coyle. Good to see you, Chuck, out there sitting in third. Ian Mulligan in fourth. Dan Peltiel in fifth. And then we've got Ryan Tweeton, London Warburton, Judd Nutting, Kevin Baker, and Matt DeLisa. That rounds out our top 10. And a bunch of those guys, Nathan, are USA Cycling members.
Absolutely awesome. We're going to jump in with the A category racing with the men now as the action is starting to heat up. We'll jump back in with the C and the D's for the overall standings in a little while.
Sounds
here.
good.
But Steve Velez here was on the attack before we took that initial turn onto the right hand or into Trafalgar Square. Now it's going to be McLean though from Cannondale. It looks like off the front just a little bit. 170 beats per minute currently coming from him. Yager's there. It looks like Jaden Yager looking to try and chase it down as well. This will be the first seconds for the splits. They'll take this little bit of a left-hand turn. There'll be a downhill descent in just a moment, and then it's going to be a left immediately on over toward Box Hill. We are looking at about 20-minute laps, maybe a little bit less than that, even if they continue on at these kind of a paces. So essentially, I mean, clean. This is going to be interesting. They're going to try and make this break happen a little bit here, try and put a little sting in the legs, but immediately following this, I think they're going to try and rest up because you go into Box Hill hot like this, you might find yourself off the back real quick.
I tell you, Nathan, I mean, they are flying when you look at it's only it was 2% downhill just a moment ago, and they were nearly at 60 kilometers per hour. So they've got the accelerator down on the floorboard, no doubt. And I mean, that's the norm. But I mean, let's talk about what's going to happen the first of two trips up this climb. It is significant. I mean, really, the storyline, this is the dramatic chapter. It happens twice. Again, you got plenty of time to chase back on the second lap. But let's just talk about how many riders survive to be in that front group that becomes the first selection here. Stefan Roth, we're looking at. He's a really strong rider, a German national, but he lives in Austin, Texas. He's the only guy, Nathan, that's done every edition of the Tulsa Tough. That's 15 years of racing at the elite level and showing up, on form, racing well every year. He's chasing back into the group. It's a very interesting Holden Camo video. Did you happen to catch that about yesterday? He had a flat tire or what we call a dropout yesterday.
Really? I didn't know. I didn't catch that.
It was unbelievable. I was stunned. I'll get you a link later. It was.
Yeah,
you'll find
that.
it. But really interesting. Oh my goodness, Ed Laverick, the rider out of Wales, who's one of the most impressive animators and dictators that we see. Nathan, we've talked about getting Laverick. How that's actually now a verb that. They're putting into the the lexicon of cycling.
With Laverick in here and being UK hill climb champion and Box Hill. Okay, we're in London.
And such an aggressive rider.
We're in London. He doesn't want to sprint finish. I have a feeling these Box Hill climbs are going to be some of the fastest we've ever seen, and I think he's going to be super motivated to go full on this climb. We're about to hit it up here. I do want to jump on over to the ladies, though, as they are just jumping out on course as well.
Perfect.
Just as they jump out on course, give us 1 second here. We'll go ahead and jump on in with them. But the ladies all together here at this point. Go ahead.
The confetti's going to be flying on Box Hill today with PRs being set all over the place, Nathan. When you're in a group this strong that's racing that hard, you find that extra. I'm not talking about extra 1%. I'm talking about an extra 3.5%. Right? I mean, that's how much harder you're going. It's amazing you are looking at a fully tapped adrenal gland at this point, as these guys now, and the women out on course, Lauren Stevens, the wattage goddess. I'm actually going on to ZwiftPower.com, as anyone could, Nathan, and getting all the information I need about the course and the riders. It is so cool what you can do with this. But so looking at the A races where we're going to be focusing today, and I'm jumping in Lauren Stevens, Caroline Murray, the Scottish rider. Actually, you're going to be showing us again. We'll take a look at the top 10. I'm just looking at some riders in there today, like Christy Tracy out of Austin, Texas. Takashita is back, Nathan, the Japanese rider who's been so impressive out of New Zealand. Hey, congratulations, Anna Russell. Nathan, you heard that New Zealand's the first country with no confirmed COVID-19 cases.
Yeah,
they are
hear about
super
that.
smart. New Zealand is an awesome nation. It really is. And we're big fans of Anna Russell, who's also a colleague of ours. She's a Zwift caster. I would say. And so Charlotte Backus is out there today. Fiona Schroeder, big fan of the 20-year-old out of Germany. And I wanted to welcome, I think, not maybe her first time, but a doctor who's been on the front line. She's a surgeon. In Fresno, California, Shannon Castle is racing with us. Shannon, I think it's extremely cool that you're able to get out here and Zwift today. I mean, there's some very, very strong racers. Catherine Curie is here. Catherine won a national champion back in 2008. She was the U.S. road champion, the highest honor that you can win racing in America. So, Nathan, we've got a wide spectrum of riders, including out of Seattle. Watch out for Laura Matson Coe of the mighty, mighty Evoque bike team. It's a nice list of riders, isn't it? We got two great fields today. I am stoked, Nathan.
There's already obviously the attacks over the top of Box Hill are going to be happening, but HP here, I have to take a look over at Zwift Power and see who HP is, but she is off the front at 5 watts per kilogram, killing it before we even
She's not playing
Trafalgar
around.
Square. But like we said a little earlier, we'll jump back in with that in just a moment as their race is already heating up immediately in the first 4K here. But in the men's race here now, 8 kilometers in, Laverick and George McLean, they went directly to the front at 8 watts per kilogram right from the get-go. And Ed here now with Mills Keeling on the wheel. Now, we do have an attack also in the women's race here. We're going to try and keep the coverage on both of them as they do really start to immediately. Pitzer does not want to leave this. Angela Pitzer from Evoque, she's shown up, it looks like, with some sort of a tactic perhaps from Evoque. She just kicked it into 8 watts per kilogram immediately the moment they headed on over toward Trafalgar Square here as well. Polly Mason trying to go across from Saris. Murray is there as well. And I think that what they're trying to do, I think they're going to be trying to break Tibco SVB out there today. I think that Lauren Stevens, being the leader in the series here, they want to try and unseat her from that top podium spot.
Nathan, I could not agree more. And listen, ladies, I'm going to encourage you to have at it. We call Lauren Stevens the wattage goddess. I was recently rewatching the Winston-Salem race where she won that UCI 1.1. That's the hardest one-day race to win in America, Nathan. She's won it in her career. She's been on the national team many times, racing at Worlds. She's part of the elite American racing group. So she comes here to get better, right? You've experienced this, Nathan. If you want to sharpen your sword, you don't do it banging against bamboo. You do it banging against steel. And that's what she's looking for. So having her chasing this back, I'm not going to say that Lauren's loving this, but this is what she's here for, to get better. So good on you. I'm a big fan of Angela Pitzer. She's a very talented rider who does a really good job of showing us the upside of what esports are all about. So Angela, good job out there. That's going to be Mason and Pitzer here. They got a chase group coming behind Nathan. I think if we could see, it's a little bit rainy out in London today. Surprise, surprise. But is that Steven on the front chasing this back, or
Stevens,
is she getting some help
actually
today?
His Team Fearless, it looked like they closed things down a little bit. Now there is a break that happened though because of these attacks, so they were able to whittle things down a little bit, and there were about 3 or 4 riders that went off the back there. Now it's all back together. It looks like in the women's race though. Pitzer, it looks like going to the back along with Mason, and it looks like they are going to be looking for some draft before they hit their Box Hill climb. Let's jump back in with the men as they're on their climb, and it looks like Laverick here continues to press the pace. We did have a rider go across, and that is going to be McLean there from Cannondale, getting into this 3-man break situation. Now, the rest of this pack here, a lot of these riders that are in this chase group, Vigo Moore went to the line with Holden Camus there yesterday. Solid sprint, obviously. A lot of these riders who may be looking for the sprint, maybe looking for the second time up on the top, are trusting that this pack is going to come over the top of Box Hill big enough that it will chase down, without a whole lot of effort, the break of 3 up ahead. But if this pack does not stay together and anybody attacks out of it and kind of splinters it to where it gets to its 5 riders, 3, 7 riders even, you got to have a certain number of bodies with you to really get the advantage that you get on a downhill situation, in a flat situation, to just pull back a break like the Laverick break that's up ahead here. So, Laverick, McLean as well, these boys, and we're actually getting, it looks
Nathan,
like one of the riders here. Go ahead.
Following what you're saying, this group looks like about the size that you're talking about. Much smaller than this, and you lose that dynamic. You can see.
Exactly.
I mean, they're tailing off almost a dozen riders right now. I want to throw it back to you, but your point is very well made here.
Yeah, we did just see a cone there for just a second, everybody, and that is simply because the rider was on Z power, it looked like. And so because the rider was on Z power and was putting just a little bit too much out for the reality of perhaps what somebody could handle, unless they were essentially Rohan Dennis up and over the top of the Alpe d'Huez, they got removed. But this is 20 seconds. This is no joke.
Dangerous.
This is a very, and they're letting this go. We've almost been waiting for this kind of a situation.
We talked about it yesterday. Yeah, this is Nathan. So the course is such a
525. 525, Dave. What is that?
Is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. So, okay, Nathan, we are watching one of the more dynamic moments that I've witnessed here in 2020. So, folks, enjoy this one. So, let's break down the race situation here. Again, this is the men. It's going to be about, we're going to say a little north of 30 kilometers of racing here. I mean, Nathan, they're almost a third of the kilometer up the road when you get onto the flat sections here. So obviously it's going to be a little bit different when you're on these climbs as they are right now. This is Box Hill. So we've talked about Laverick. He's the rider out of Wales, one of the most dangerous riders that we've seen in esports. He's aggressive. He's like a honey badger, Nathan. You don't want to corner that guy. We're now going to be looking again. Vigo Moore is the 17-year-old, races for Lux, which is the team that Roy Nickman, the Olympic bronze medalist, he does such a great job with this junior development program with the men and the women. And Vigo Moore is living in Germany right now, but when it gets back to racing time, he's another guy that's done a ton of work out here. How about Sean McLean today, the Cannondale rider here? He's going toe to toe, blow for blow with Ed Laverick. This is going to be impressive, and now you can see, Nathan, the chase is on.
It is on, and look at they're getting into the super tux. They want to bring it back here. It went up to 13 seconds again. Things are getting so incredibly interesting here. We'll have to see if they can hold on. I think they're going to bring them back, but there's been some damage done. I think that some of these legs are ready to snap off here at this point. Look behind. They can't even hang on with the super tux at this point. I mean, this group is splintering even on the downhill. Zach Harrod here now, Team Experimento looking. We were saying just a little bit earlier, we weren't seeing Edith Friere. There he is, actually. He's in here.
Good.
That's a climber. He waited, it looks like. He's been patient here. Legion, they've been watching. They've been waiting, perhaps looking to represent for the USA out here today, and as well as Mexico, and maybe take down the break that's happening here. And it's been all of the UK boys, it seems like, off the front, maybe.
Yeah, Zwift is a worldwide phenomenon. It is really cool to see that. Well, I mean, it depends on the time zone that you're in as well. We really don't get many of the Asian-based riders just because of that. But it is interesting to see how you never know who's going to pop into these fields and come out of the woodwork for you. Eder Friere has a teammate, Tyler Williams. We talked about him earlier. That's going to be interesting to watch how that tandem works. Thanks. Uh-oh, Nathan. So picking up Lauren Stevens, the wattage goddess, and she's on the attack. I think she's going to go early and play this interesting game of holding off the chase. Right now, two riders looking like they're going with her. No surprise, it's out of Pittsburgh. Stephanie Sidlick here, racing for the Amy D Foundation. And all right, Anna, way to go. New Zealander coming from down under. That's Anna Russell there. She's so strong, Anna is. And she's a triathlete. Nathan, we've talked about her in the past. She's going to really like the style of racing out here today. So it's not a sprinter's delight in any way, shape, or form. This course comes at you full force. Get ready for old school fury. And Anna Russell is ready to rock up here. All right, Nathan, this isn't over. These ladies are going to be fighting here. I mean, if you're Lauren Stevens, you still remembering, you've got about 22K to go. A lot of climbing. I love what we're seeing here. So they're going to put the Scottish rider, Murray, under pressure here.
Yeah, we're seeing Stevenson now 5.6 on the front now, 6 watts per kilogram. Sidlick on the wheel, Catherine Curry there, Amy D Foundation there as well, Anna Russell there for Saris. Just setting the pace, making sure perhaps that it doesn't go out too far. They don't want to, again, same situation as we just saw over the top of the Box Hill in the men's race. If this group comes over the top with enough bodies, the group of 3 up ahead will not be able to hold on to their gap, because this group will be able to work together on the downhill and the flats, pull that back in here, but they can't necessarily completely splinter this. And it looks like in the women's race with a little, I mean, there's not quite as many riders, obviously, as you can see, able to hang on at this point. Russell here setting it steady at the front. Now the chase on by Murray, and it looks like Saris, they're going to be the workhorses. They're going to be the ones that are going to try and hold this gap as low as they possibly can without completely demolishing this group. And Christy Tracy, Anna Russell, Carolyn Murray, those are going to be the riders we'll be watching out for. They're working together here. We also have, it looks like Revo's in here as well. Velocity Vixen, though.
There's a lot of horsepower.
Velocity Vixen, they're not going to be chasing this down. Turbo, though, will be involved.
Yeah, Nathan, I apologize. I had Anna Russell in the wrong group there for a moment, so that certainly changes things. It's actually much to the benefit of Murray, Backus, and the riders in this group. Well, and here you go. They're working hard, aren't they? Look at how things are going completely single file now. It looks like every rider doing a good job of holding onto the wheel right in front of them. As they're taking a big dig. That's going to split that group down, which works against your theory. Well, I mean, not against your theory. Your theory is correct. What I'm saying is this group is getting small enough that the advantage, if you have 3 riders working together on that downhill, it's, still this group has an advantage, not as much if it was 30 riders chasing, but this was not a large field to start with as we're looking at the women coming up on Box Hill now. This is a tough sector here. They'll be doing this climb again. It's 2 laps to make up a little more than 30K of total racing. Really big moment here. Not a surprise, is it, Nathan? This course was going to bring out the champion standard very, very quickly today.
Yeah, and as you can see at the front.
More riders coming back, actually. A few.
Yeah, it looks like, there is one rider off the back here now of this pack just trying to hang on, it looks like, and that is going to be Weissman here. LGBRC here, NCNCA. So good to see the
Northern California and Nevada Cycling Association.
Interesting. And a Belgian flag, though. So that's pretty interesting to see.
That's it. Yeah, they might not be.
That. Obviously, USA cycling license, so maybe just coming on over from Belgium, living in the USA, racing here could definitely be a situation happening.
So if you live in San Francisco, that would be your local racing organization. Like in Colorado, we've got BRAC, Bicycle Racing Association, kind of the people that help organize your local organizers, right? So we need that. We need organizers are a big part of making these events happen. That's for sure. Oh, that's going to be Matson Coe out of Seattle. Another very interesting rider doing a good job of holding on in this group. Nathan, yeah, it's not over by any way, shape, or means here, but it is a big, big problem, to be honest. When you talk about that rider with the pink hat there, that is Lauren Stevens. I hate to go on like a broken record, right? I think I've established how good she is. I mean, she's won, Nathan, I'm going to guess half of the races that we've seen her start. That's Eddie Merckx-like numbers when we talk about esports over the last 3 months. She and her Tibco team, under the direction of Linda Jackson and Rachel Heel, have completely embraced what Zwift is all about, and they're using it to their advantage in a major way. And Nathan, I heard the Colorado Classic, the women's race, they're talking about racing, and it sounds realistic that late August we could have a USA Cycling, the pride and joy, the crown jewel of racing in America, especially for women right now, is the Colorado Classic. Brought to you by the VF Corporation. It's really an amazing event. And Lauren Stevens would be my tip to win the whole dang thing. And I don't even know anyone else who's racing. That's how good she's been. Remembering, though, Chloe Dygert, the defending champion, and how great Chloe is. But it's just an exciting time to get behind women's racing. It looks like a little bit of a split happening. I'm going to throw it back to you, Nathan, because it looks like Lauren Stevens is possibly dropping one rider out of this group, or no. This one's going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, it looks like in the women's race here, they have a little bit more of an opportunity on the right-hand side of the screen there. That is going to be 3 up, where they've got about 27 seconds now, whereas in the men's race, it was a little bit closer together. Also, this pack behind is much more separated. So we'll jump back in with that as the chase continues on in just a moment. But on the front of the men's race, though, Laverick, he had a 13, 15-second gap at one point. Zach Herod went across to him along with Sean McLean, and the group got splintered. Sean McLean was able to go back with Zach Herod now, but James Bevan, though, now does not want to bring the rest of the pack with him, and this is a full-on bridge. I'm loving the way that they are racing this, because they are not just closing things down. They are attacking the pack, making sure nobody's on the wheel, and going across in order to keep things as fast as possible, and to make sure that nobody is able to just sit in. Right? Nobody gets a free ride. Yeah. Exactly. Everybody's got to put the work in when you race like this. And look at this. Now we've got to
look at this.
We
Oh,
have a
Nathan,
situation
holy cow.
here at this point now where the group ahead is going to outnumber the group behind. And if the group behind does not have the numbers, they don't start throwing down orange numbers, they don't shut this down, this will be completely splintered and we'll have a breakaway situation.
It's crazy because some guys are starting to wonder, are we going to sit up right now? Other guys are trying to go up and over the top. This is some really dynamic racing right here. So right through the middle part, even a little past the middle part of the race, this selection has been incredible. All right, Nathan, so let's see. Who are the men who are making it? Zach Herron is having an incredible ride today. James Bevan, this guy's up the platinum standard. There's no doubt. The Twig is up there again. Oh, Nathan, this is going to be brutal. Remembering they've got another trip up Box Hill, and they are pinning it right now, starting to come back together just a little bit. This is the race that I've been dreaming of, to tell you the truth. This was the day that I knew was going to be coming. We're going to have bodies lying all over London by the time this one is done and dusted.
Yeah, we do have one rider suffering off the back now from those attacks, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to just make sure that each and every time that they do these attacks, they can just drop a couple of off. Laverick is probably a little bit frustrated that he was brought back just a moment ago, but he saw the damage that his attack did, and that probably puts a little bit of hope there in the reality of doing it again. There is the reality that now he can sit in, rest up, make sure that he's got the energy to attack at that kind of pace again over the top of Box Hill. And this time around, these guys are not going to have the same kind of response that they had the first time around. We'll have to see if he's got anything left in the tank, though. Legion's been sitting in. They have not, they've not really stuck their nose in the wind too much here. They've been following wheels and playing it very smart, and they still have Friere. And a Friere in here, and I'd be watching out for him to maybe do something similar to what Laverick did last time around.
Yeah, when you talk about Laverick, Nathan, he's trying to recharge that battery. The problem is he's using a solar charger on a cloudy day, right? There's not much you can do when these guys are going as hard as they are, but Laverick is one of the very few riders that I would say can get back into that attack mode. We'll see how many riders are together when they come up and over the top of that climb. They've got a bit of a run. I'm going to go back onto Zwift Power, jumping back and forth between the women as we're now picking up Lauren Stevens here, who is solo. So, there's a reason that we call her the wattage goddess.
Just barely, though. And so she attacked out of the underground here. It actually all came back together, and at the moment it all came back together, Lauren Stevens attacked out of the underground to make sure that she gets the most perhaps out of this and just can maybe ride away. But Saris says, nope, we've got a plan, and we're going to bring this back together here and work with what is in their advantage, which is keeping things a big group.
Stephanie Sidlick having a great ride today as well. I'm a little surprised, actually, that they are going to. They're right now, if we were in real life, you could smell the embrocation as that catch is being made from Stevens back to the field. Not a big group left here. So let's do some inventory. Anna Russell is there. Let's see who else we have. Christy Tracy has made it. James Here is there. Stoll is in this group. Chafin is there. Daniela, Isarate. I'm trying to see who else we have, Nathan. Pretty select group, no doubt about it. So Stevens alone has pretty much whittled this down with a couple different searing attacks. But these ladies have held their heads above water, actually. And if they can coordinate, right? Lauren has no teammates here, but really there's no coordinated team effort. It's a bunch of privateers out here, basically, at this point. Not entirely. There are a couple riders that have a teammate. But going up against Lauren Stevens, you're going to need a lot more than just one rider to help, I would have to say. It's going to be fun to watch how Murray plays this. Stephanie Sidlick is a rider that you certainly know. We've seen her do really well on some in real life hard days of racing. Gila stands out as a day where she's been really, really solid. So watching for her to be one of the riders. She certainly had a great ride up to now, Nathan.
Yeah, we are seeing it looks like it's going to be one lap to go. One lap to go in the women's race now. Charlotte Backus is in here from Team Turbo. That's going to be a rider I've seen, I believe, on this course, take down the win. If I might be mistaken, but she knows this sprint and has had some solid results, actually. So we'll have to wait and see how this ends up playing out for Backus. If she can make it up over the top, I'd be watching out for her in a sprint situation.
Don't sleep on Charlotte. Good
do
call.
Not. Neck and neck, I think, with Lauren to the line, and I think she's got some experience on this course as well. So watch out for that as she heads over to the front of this pack.
She's a young rider in Park City, Utah, so giving her credit for racing at altitude. I don't know, Nathan, that there's anyone with a better attitude about life than Charlotte Backus. We're going to pick up the men here as it's a big group kind of swarming right now. You get the feeling they're getting ready for another charge of the light brigade here on the front. Both races pretty similar at this point, but these guys have started climbing, Nathan, looking at 6% there. So it's about to get real. No doubt about it. The next 5 minutes or so are going to do a lot of sorting and selecting here.
Yeah, we're just starting the final climb here for the men out on course. 28 minutes racing in, 22.3K done. But now it's the final time over Box Hill. First time over the top, we saw Laverick go to the front there with Sean McLean as well. And George Mills-Keeling, they were on the full-on attack from bottom to the top. This time around, a little bit less, it looks like. Maybe waiting for things to hurt a little bit more before a full-on attack for about the halfway point. There's this initial kick, 8%. It then comes down a little bit. Exactly, it does flatten out, and I have a feeling maybe on that second, but no, K Power. It looks like Zhao Power goes to the front now. It looks like, and that's gonna be one of our top 10 in the overall series. Zach Harrod now 6.1 to the front here, 192 beats per minute. Cormac McGeough
moving up.
Laverick here, he's giving a little bit of go, though. 7.5 here and 450 watts here. We'll see if he can hold this to the top again. First time over 525. Will they best that? I'm not sure.
So, again, this would be the least surprising thing that you see Laverick on the front. But this time, I think we're going to see some new names, the guys that have been able to keep their TSS low. And I'm wondering, Nathan, there's going to be an attack. You get the feeling, watch out here as these riders are going to start to surge. This group will split, no doubt about it. I'm going to say in the next kilometer, we're going to lose a good number of riders. Only the strong are going to survive. There's our man George going red. Numbers popping red now is George Mills-Keeling. He certainly brought his A game today. Nathan, this is going to be fun to watch, but not fun to do. As get ready to get guttered, gentlemen. It's on like Donkey Kong here in London.
Yeah, we got Kershaw, the new rider for the PTZ team here now, 6.8 to the front. That's a name I haven't mentioned yet during the race, but watch out for them. They've really been showing up recently with some new pickups to their team. So Ricardo there as well. Lots of PTZ to the front. Robertson here coming out of Australia. So perhaps PTZ are looking to put their name on the map here today in this USA Cycling League. Now Team PO Auto also these are the TTBs. Peterson is out here. This is a rider who's not going to let anything, where are the Legion? Oh, they're right here. Blue and
right
white.
There, right in the middle.
Yep, blue and white.
And you're going to see they're moving up slowly. They're using the draft. I like the way they're riding in this group, Nathan. I like what they're doing. Here we go. I'm expecting big things from these guys. Eda Freire, the Mexican rider on Legion, and the American from, I believe his home is Santa Rosa, but a guy who raced for the Israel Cycling Academy in his career, Tyler Williams. And they are dropping riders out of the group, Nathan. So they're punching tickets at the back, no doubt. My heart goes out to these guys. It's been a long, hard. I mean, this is only a 30 kilometer. Let's go with 31 kilometer race today. This is an intense, dynamic 30K of racing. You got to be switched on to win a race like this today.
Yeah, and, the reality of trying to come to the line with any energy in the legs at all. I mean, 30K, full gas. I mean, the laps that they're doing here are, they've got to be averaging. Because of the reality of what you have to do over the top of Box Hill, then the chases that happen and the attacks in between, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these riders are pushing 5.5 watts per kilogram for the duration. At the lower end, we're looking at maybe, I don't know if you're hanging on without 5 watts per kilogram.
Everybody's over 6 now. Right.
I mean,
you start to, and they're starting to pop red. There goes Herod. I'm stealing your terms now, by the way, Nathan. So that's Kershaw that we're looking at here up on the front. But, I mean, it just makes sense. When you see those red numbers, there's a lot of things to look at. Up, you can see the pitch, the grade that they're climbing on. That's 5% right now for every 5 meters forward. Or every 100 meters forward, you're going up 5. That's pretty steep. It gets steeper. But as we mentioned, there is this not weird, but it flattens out a bit at the top of this climb and then kicks up one more time. And that's really going to be a major checkpoint in this race. But 2 riders starting to soldier on.
Yeah, with the right-hand turn here, too, I think that some of the reality of whether or not you can do anything at this point to try and break things apart with how many people have made this. Now, McLean, though, says, no, I'm going to give it a go. Just really wanting, at this point, there's so many riders. Yeah. I think you just kind of want to whittle as many off the back as you possibly can, because I think there's just a reality that this is coming to the line with a few riders still. There was solo breakaway or even a small breakaway. I'm not sure it's going to be able to happen. Laverick, though, kicks again, 8.6. Maybe seeing that there's 4 off the front here. There is a reality, though, still that some of these riders are suffering. Pretty difficult, really difficult spots here at this point. And you could catch them out, but it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with your earlier theory that unfortunately for any 2-3 rider breakaway, or certainly solo, there's enough strong guys back here. They will definitely use the laws of physics and motivation to chase back anything under 15 seconds over Box Hill's coming back, even if you're at Laverick, to tell you the truth. So, I mean, right now we're going to be looking at, I think I'm surprised, but again, that's why we make them race the entire distance, Nathan, is you can never know how the racers are going to race. And it looks like today they did a really good job of controlling that dangerous move with McLean and Laverick and company. And now a lot of these guys are going to get a crack at it. I mean, there's a good example. James Bevan has got to be licking his lips. He knows only one man gets to lick the plate clean today. It very well could be James Bevan.
Yeah, James Bevan.
He might be the best guy in this group.
James Bevan, Vigo Moore, head-to-head. That's the call. Yeah. Vigo Moore, James Bevan, head-to-head to the line.
I totally agree. Vigo, that 17-year-old, we talked about him. He has been so consistent. He's been consistently great. So, Vigo, you have definitely caught our attention. A big, big fan, to tell you the truth. I can't wait to see what he can do in the sport. Nathan, they're pressing. They're really pressing right now. And if Vigo can beat Bevan, that's going to be a huge feather. That's going to be a feather in his cap for sure, because Bevan is a quality finisher.
Yeah, he's got the strongest sprint that I've seen as of recently out on Zwift. Almost unbeatable.
Holden Camo level, right? I mean,
yeah, at least. Yeah, him and Holden, I think, are some of the strongest. But we saw Vigo yesterday come to the line with Holden. Maybe more of a timing thing than anything. Not sure.
That's right. That was yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday. So Bevan and Vigo to the line. This is going to be some of the new blood of sprinting out here. We've seen James Bevan in the past couple of months, show us some of the strongest sprints, but now Vigo is starting to really show up on the days. I think also the reality of learning how to sprint out on Zwift, when to go and how to go. Now Deepak though with Morgan here. Interesting to see off the front now. You're a little bit attacking 8 watts per kilogram. This is an interesting move. Trying to separate things off here. Peterson now to the front. So these are dangerous moments. If you let a gap go, you could find yourself off the back very quickly as they try and bring things back together with these super tucks.
Yeah, Pedersen, one of the best riders here, and he's up on the front looking hyper motivated right now. But Nathan, your point was really made right there visually, where you could see what the group does against one individual on these downhills, right? I mean, it's just they swarm. They absolutely swarm like killer hornets. Luckily,
as we head into the finish here, no killer hornets out on Zwift. And you can just avoid everything out on Zwift. Killer hornets, the pandemic, we're good to go. But
no COVID-19, nothing.
But we are seeing, it looks like, on the women's race, they're about to start their final climb. We're going to stick in with the men as they head into their sprint situation. As this is going to be where all the attack is going to happen, all the action for who's going to win this race out of this group of about 15 to 20 riders in this men's race here. But the women just about to hit Box Hill. We'll jump back in with them and how things end up on their climb in just a moment. As we head into the final kilometers, though, with the men, you've got Morgan here, Deepak, Peterson. Laverick is still here. Laverick always, we've been talking about this a lot here recently, and he's been working on that sprint.
He's got one more attack in him.
Yesterday we saw, so I watched the replay of his stream. He's live streaming this for sure. And yesterday's replay of his stream, he essentially said, I'm happy with that because he went with a K to go or so off the front alongside who went off the front with him yesterday. It was good. Gavin Dempster. Him and Gavin Dempster off the front, and he was happy with it because he held them almost to the line and got an amazing workout. Is he going to do it again? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's going to be more about the sprint today. But Kershaw now out of the tunnel. This is the last little chance to give a little bit of kick. Not going to go anywhere. Everybody's got this orange numbers for just a moment that's made this group. And it's going to be coming to the line here. As we said, it's going to be Bevan, Moore. Those are the two riders to be watching out for.
Yeah, it's almost as flat as a pancake, Nathan, from here to the finish line. Let's use 2 kilometers to go, something close to that. So we are down to the business end, no doubt about it. That's going to be McLean. He's been very, very active. He and Laverick would certainly be what you'd call the men of the match today, no doubt about it. But this is it, the finale time. You can't afford to miss a step. There's a big group right behind Sean McLean. And as we said, James Bevan, this guy is a monster, no question. He comes in as, so he's the established sprinter, we would say, in this group. But there's a young man, 17 years old, Vigo Moore, who is fierce, no question. And that kid seems to be absolutely looking for the top step again. And Nathan, yesterday we watched him come within virtual millimeters of beating Holden Camo. Maybe he learned that last little nano cell that he needed to crack the code here. The kid is a superstar in the making, no doubt. But McLean pressing on here. I like this 2-second advantage. He's going all in, pushing the chips into the middle of the table. That's going to be Zach Herod. Zach, you're a superstar. Zach Herod attacking. He's going to bring them down, Nathan, pretty close to 1K to go.
A little less than that. We're within about 500 meters at this point here, and it's going to be Zach here at 11 watts per kilometer. He's out the front. They let him go a little bit too far. 3 seconds. Ricardo, PTZ, he's got to come across now. Can Herod hold on, though? 10 watts per kilogram. I don't know. Vigo Moore. Here comes BRT. Where's James Bevan? James Bevan, 14 watts per kilogram. He might have been caught out at this point. Is it too many meters? Here comes. It looks like Peterson. It looks like Peterson, though, from PO Auto, it looks like, takes out James Bevan at the line. Peterson perfectly timed on that downhill. Bevan's got the 16 watts per kilogram for a moment there, you saw, but it said and done there out there today. We're back at 67th place. As soon as the riders finish, just so everybody knows, it jumps us back into the event to make sure that we are at least still in the event. So that's why it jumped us back there. We'll look at the replay here in just a moment as we catch up with some of the chasers, but what a kick there coming from Peterson. Great. Team PO Auto sleeping under our radar, though, for sure. But I mentioned him that being a TT specialist team for sure, but there's a reality that there's a kick there from Peterson as well.
Yeah, tomorrow we have the WTRL to look forward to, and PO Auto, Peterson's team, is one of the strongest that we've ever seen. They are legends, and that's a big win here today. So, wow. Okay, so Nathan, there were a lot of late surges there, but this one's a little bit different as we go back in and pick up the women. So at almost 24 kilometers in, actually probably be accurate, 23.7, because every meter matters when you're on a climb like this. And this is the American champion, Lauren Stevens, out of Dallas, Texas, racing for the Tibco Silicon Valley Bank team. And it looks like she's gone into a steady state effort here right now. Nathan, this is your classic wattage cottage that we're looking at.
Yeah, it looks like she was able to drop everybody off at this point. Right? Yeah, this is a great attack. It looks like bottom of the top, Box Hill, and looking to just win this outright with this effort out here today. Not looking for a sprint, doesn't want to risk it. And I think that's a smart way to go, actually, because you come to the line and there's a reality of timing. There's a reality of whether or not you've got the kick on the day. I mean, there's a lot of more risk. And look at this Nathan, group though. Look at how many there are here.
If I was Lauren, Captain Curie, but Nathan, if I was Lauren Stevens, I'd do this every time. But I'm not, right? But I mean, when you got that much talent and work that hard, I'm not going to say that Lauren Stevens can win at will, but she's about as close as any rider in esports right now. That's for sure. That's the problem, though, is there's riders like Kathleen Curie. Kathleen, again, you go back to 2008, she was U.S. National Road Champion. She's one of the best climbers that America has ever seen. She's in that Inga Thompson, Connie Carpenter, that really elite circle of Americans that can climb like angels. So that's going to be Curie that we're looking at on the front of this group, racing for the Amy D Foundation. Nathan, for the last few years, Catherine would be at races like Redlands and Gila working with the team, but not racing. It's kind of interesting when your director would have been stronger than any racer on the team, right? It's a kind of, that's having your coach in the NBA.
It's called passion.
Well, yeah,
It's called
exactly.
passion.
And it kind of class too, because she wanted to give back to the sport. But I think ultimately her passion was so strong that she just couldn't help but getting back in racing. And we know that she's coming back from a broken arm as well. That's only about a month ago, if memory serves me correctly. So, it's quite a story when you're looking at Catherine Curie. This is a new talent for the last couple of years. She's been out on the national scene. She'll check in with the U.S. national squad as we thank USA Cycling for hosting the racing here today. But Stephanie Sidlick is a great example of a rider who's in the sweet spot of her career, a very talented climber. I believe she still lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and a rider that is on an upward trajectory, that's for sure. Right now, she's having the experience of chasing Lauren Stevens up Box Hill.
Yeah, Lauren Stevens able to get a 27-second gap over her. Very solid ride here by Stephanie Sidlick, though, from Velocity Vixen. And going to be coming over the top here in just a moment. She's going to be chased down, it looks like, getting chased by Catherine Murray here, Caroline Murray here now from Saris. Saris is going to have, is Anna still here? Anna is still here. Christy Tracy's still here. They've got 3 to make this chase happen, and they've really been the instigators in this group to bring back these breakaway situations. 53 seconds to the line with about 6K to go. Not sure that's going to be coming back for Lauren Stevens, but Stephanie's still in the crosshairs, I think, at this point. For second place, Stephanie's going to have to really put in a solid TT effort to hold off this kind of a chase. But she could do it. She could do it after some infighting, but Lauren Stevens continues on.
I mean, they are all hard, that's for sure. I got to say, Laura Matson-Coe is having a heck of a ride out here today as well, sitting up. I mean, you can see that elite chase group has formed now. Matson-Coe in there. We've mentioned Catherine Curie, Stephanie Sidlick, Anna Russell, the New Zealander, Kulczynski, who we don't give enough love to out there, having an outstanding ride.
With Evoke on there, I think taking over kind of the leadership position for the GC here, contending Matson-Coe actually out of the USA. So 175 beats per minute here, making this lead group here. So good to see Evoke still represented. She's going to try and hang on, it looks like, because we do have an attack on the front now with Estrate Daniela Rivo on the front here.
The Romanian superstar.
And she's always involved.
Yeah, I remember when I first really started getting serious about following esports, she was one of the first riders that caught my attention. Very active, super talent, big engine, and big motivation. And that's what we're looking at now. Again, racing out of Romania, same place as our friend Sergei Tvetkov races from. That's a nation that doesn't have a huge cycling history. They're building one right now. Right, so we're going to go back now and pick up a strong chase group here. So, Nathan, let's test your theory, right? What is the gap that Stevens has? It's about, oh, boy, I'm going to let you
minute
tell me.
11.
I think it's
a minute 11 at this point.
To this group, correct?
To this group. Stephanie Sidlick from this group is still holding on to about 15 seconds. That's coming down very quickly.
Sidlick is in no woman's land, right? She's closer to Stevens than she is to that group that we're looking at.
And look at this straight. Daniela is off the front too. I mean, this is all kind of like in the men's race. It's kind of Wild West at this point. No, not a whole lot of organization except for Saris. Saris are the most experienced. Saris Infinite out here. They know what they're doing, and they are they really have played this very well. Except for letting Stevens. I don't know if they let Stevens. I think they just couldn't do anything about it.
I would agree. That's the reality of the situation. Is Lauren Stevens is one of the 10 best bike racers in the world, right? I mean, that's fair. I'm not exaggerating, Nathan, when I say that right now. And so, I mean, so don't beat yourself up, ladies, if you're not able to catch her. You're looking at someone that very well could be racing at the Olympics in Tokyo.
Look at the speed difference.
When you look at
81 kilometers per hour. 40. I mean, it's coming down quickly, though. The reality of the game physics here, they have a chance.
Sure.
They can't look at each other, though. Saris have to put 2 or 3 on the front. So Saris at this point have 3 riders. They have to commit to and say, we are all in for you.
Nathan, they brought back about a third of the gap there in 3 minutes because of the huge advantage. As you said, knowing the game, understanding the physics and the dynamics. They took a minute 4 down to 39, right? So,
yeah, I mean, she's almost in sight. She's almost in sight. They can't mess around.
And that's why solo breakaways so hard to do. I mean, so this, I mean, even if you're Lauren Stevens, this is ridiculously hard. I mean, her heart rate is staying right around 180 beats per minute. I mean, this is absolutely bike racing at its very best, and there's no gifts out here. As a matter of fact, they want Lauren Stevens back in this group so bad that they can taste it right now. And you know what? It tastes like blood because that's how hard they're working right now. This is insane. And this is always brutal, Nathan, this pitch right here. If you're a Lauren Stevens fan, you just wish you could give her a cheer and let her know that she's only got about 2K to go, really. Less than 2K. Actually.
Yeah, about 2K to go, and Chaffin here now. They're about to see that same exact kick, 22 seconds. It's really going to come down to it here now. But they're not really matching Lauren. They've got to at least start matching Lauren here at this point. They're going to run out of landscape. They really do need a little bit more here. Murray now to the front, Saris. I'm not sure they have any more though after this insanity. 42 minutes of everything you got essentially. Stevens now 5.7 on the front, 184 beats per minute now.
Yeah, they feel like they're racing through wet cement right now because, I mean, their effort has been supreme. Again, this is the wattage goddess, Lauren Stevens out of Dallas, Texas. I'm so proud of our USA Cycling American national team. Olympic teams are going to be announced. There's really a great time to get behind what our friends at USA Cycling are doing. It's been really tough to navigate this whole COVID-19 world, but now that there's some light at the end of the tunnel, it's time to let it rip here. As soon as they drop the start flag, you know that Lauren Stevens is going to be tearing some legs off in real life. And I'm just honored that we've had a chance to watch her race so much here, Nathan. It's been a lot of fun. And I know that Lauren is part of our family now for the long term, right? We can count on her. So is this a victory parade, Nathan? How much danger does she have right now?
No, I mean, she's going past
She'll be fine.
The left-hand side here. Excuse me. On the right-hand side, you'll see the start pens. There they are. And then we head on over toward the couple of little bumps here, 1%, 2%. There's a downhill into the sprint. You'll see the 300 meter to go mark there on the left-hand side. And said and done. Lauren Stevens with 42 seconds. The group is now looking at each other about second place. Lauren Stevens will take down another win out here today. Your turn GCE overall leader in the USA Cycling afternoon race here out here today. Solid ride here by Lauren Stevens.
Nathan, Lauren Stevens, one of the greatest people. She's super cool. So many things going for her. The worst group ride leader ever. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yep. You heard it here first. She's too strong. It's no fun to be around her. I'll tell you that. It's fun to be around her after. We just lost the race there, everybody, for a second, and see if we can jump back in just a moment. But for some odd reason, it went ahead and jumped off for us, and we are going to miss the sprint finish. I really apologize, everybody. And it's not something we usually have happen, but we did miss. You got it back, Nathan.
We got it back, but they had crossed the line already, it looks like. And so apologies, everybody, that we missed the finish there for the women. We will get the results, but I really wanted to get the women's finish there for the sprint amongst the group. But
Spoiler alert, they did not catch Stevens.
They did not catch Stevens. What happened, just as a heads up, everybody, I want everybody, to know what, there, sometimes as you see, the program has a separation of the event from those who just crossed the line, and it acknowledges that, and it thinks that maybe you don't want to be in the event any longer if you don't get away from it quick enough. So Polly Mason looks like, as well as Dan Saru, crossing the line here in just a moment. A little bit of a battle was going on between them. And then there's a solid chase group here for what looks to be, I would say, a top 30, top 20, top between 20 and 30th place here. So 23rd currently for Weissman now. The rider you were talking about earlier from NCA.
Right. We watched two legends take out the win here today in our men's and women's A races. I know all the categories that race. Congratulations. You got to be brave to race esports. So a lot of respect for all of you out there, and head on over to ZwiftPower.com. We joked yesterday about that's the first place where all of the races go to look at the numbers, and you can see what they look at. So Lauren Stevens, a command performance, that's for sure. Always fun to watch her, and that's nice for our friends at USA Cycling as they work to get racing back up and running, to have a chance to highlight some of the talented Americans. It was really an interesting, diverse group. I see Fiona Schroeder's name. I love the 20-year-old out of Germany that's been racing a lot with us. So we have quite a spectrum of racers around the world: Romania, Germany, New Zealand. Anna Russell out with us
Schroeder
today.
kicking here,
So
8.5 watts per kilogram. A little bit of
she's
sprint
a
coming
strong
here now.
young woman.
200 meters to go. Gonna get a little bit of sprint for almost 20th place. Now Pamela Vine on the wheel there. Vision now. Poland, a Poland there from Evoke, but it's going to be Nussbaumer, I think, that's going to come through with the good timing for Team Type 1, perhaps. Right to the
Nathan
line.
knows the game.
No, not able to get it. Almost.
Good job,
Almost.
Fiona.
Schroeder ends up taking it down, though. Solid.
Yeah, nice. Hey, listen, you fight for every spot out here, and at the end of the day, it is worth it. There's Angela out of Denver, the Evo
Early
rider. She did
attack
some
from
big
Angela.
work early. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Nathan. Good job, Angela. You can be proud of your effort out there today. I love Evoke. That's another one of the teams that I really enjoyed getting. It's quite a community, Nathan. We love what's happening on Zwift Community Live. You know, it's interesting when you look at the upside that we've experienced with esports and racing out here. The numbers have been tremendous. Typically, this time of year, it's the slowest time of year, and you guys have made it a lot of fun. So we'll take a look at some results. Looking forward to the team time trial tomorrow as well.
We'll
WTRL tomorrow, Nathan. That's going to be fun. But also thanking Indoor Specialist. They're our host here.
Saris the Pros Closet.
USA
Saris the Pros Closet.
Saris the Pros Closet.
That is the new
Pros
name
Closet in Boulder, Colorado.
For the indoor specialists. The in-game name.
Saris
a lot of people have been saying, what's going on with the in-game name? I think it just has to do with the events not changing in-game, and that the pickup of Saris the Pros Closet as their title sponsor was after all of them were scheduled. But as Angela comes to the line here, let's take a quick look at the replay from the men's race. And the early kick here from Herod was interesting to see. I thought he might have caught them out. Vigo Moore, look at him, 13.3 watts per kilogram now.
Yeah, that's why I thought Vigo had it, actually. But it was all about the timing, Nathan, as you know so well.
You can see the timing there coming from James Bevan as well as Peterson. Look at Peterson come over the top, though. And, Peterson, what happened there with Peterson is he started from about 3 or 4 back a little bit earlier and carried the speed through, whereas James Bevan, he had the kick that was higher, but it was a little bit too late for how long he went with that. Look at how Bevan's coming up on him right there, but unable to do so. Peterson ends up taking it down.
Really, he launched his slingshot at exactly the right time when you talk about Patterson, the PO auto rider, that super strong Danish squad. So let's take a look at your gold, silver, and bronze standard. Oh, wow. So Nicholas Patterson, James Bevan, but then Cormac McGeo gets up there. Nice job, Cormac.
That was a
Tyler Williams,
solid
so close.
job by Cormac, actually.
That's a good result for him. Yeah, he's been
him.
knocking on the door for a podium. Absolutely, Nathan. Then Tyler Williams up there. Danielle Ricciardo, Vigo Moore ends up 6th. Mike Cuming in 7th. Twig in 8th. Pep Taché in 9th. And Caleb Carl in 10th. That's our A's that we're looking at. 2 laps out there on the London Loop today. Chuck Coyle takes the win today. Nice job, Chuck. Colorado Classic is Ian Mulligan for 2nd. Dustin Byers for 3rd. Judd Nutting in 4th. Blake Herbold in 5th. It's Ian Hazel in 6th, Flatu Lenz in 7th, Matt DeLisa in 8th, John Mulvihill in 9th, and then Cody Hill rounding out our top 10 there for our B category. Luca Treadwell, good job, Luca. So it's nice to see this international mix at our USA Cycling race there as the American Justin Evans in 2nd and Federico Bandini in 3rd, Seabass 4th, Henry Burson in 5th, Nico Roussel in 6th, Matthew Robinson in 7th, Clark Lawson 8th, Daryl Southwood taking 9th and top 10 rounded out by the monster, Matt Vermonster. That's a good name. Raymond Hook taking gold, silver for Pavel Koval, and it is going to be Jay Saunders, the bronze medal winner. Keelan Fenters in 4th, Janet Gerritsen-Mulkes in 5th, Daryl Askey 6th, Kevin Klein 7th, Mike Louie, Ken Royal, and then Tyler Lipsig rounding out our top 10. So we'll have the women here in a moment as we work through all of the results. Well, there you go. Lawrence Stevens, Nathan.
This is, hold on one second. Apologies on that, everybody. And for some odd reason, these did not update correctly. So we'll get these updated for everybody. 1 second, everyone. As we bring in new results. These were, obviously, Lauren's been dominating, as it's going to not
Nice
change
catch,
too much,
though. This looks correct now, doesn't it, with
This is
Matson
correct,
Cohen?
yep.
Yep, there you go. A nice job, Laura. Boy, what a fighter today. That's what you call punching above your weight. Evoke really deserved that silver medal. Lawrence Stevens, the class of the field. Caroline Murray out of Scotland for third. Monique Keller, the Canadian, in fourth. Catherine Curie, so impressive. Again, racing with the broken arm just a month ago. So she's in fifth. And then Daniela Estrate, the Romanian, in sixth. Christy Tracy, pride and joy of Austin, Texas, there in seventh. Clara James here. Good job, Clara James here. Eighth place. New Zealand's Anna Russell in ninth, and then Charlotte Backus, the mighty, mighty Charlotte, in 10th. That's our A women.
And it looks like the B
And we'll
women
wait
are
for the
still
rest.
out
They'll
on
fill in
course.
quickly
yeah, I think
here.
they're going to be out on
Yeah.
course here for a little while. Maybe some of, I'll have to double check here, and perhaps we will be able to bring the C's, though, as they were doing one lap out on course here today. So good to see. Jikta Barwick, I want to say Barwick. Yeah, I think we got that with a 25:59. Christine Culver, Revo out there, followed up by Kim Beezer, and then it's going to be Alexis Jaramillo. Looks like household here to the line.
So these are sisters. These are two like 13, 14-year-olds from Colorado Springs, Alexis and Michaela Jaramillo. They're two really talented juniors that are part of the USA Cycling family. I mean, they live like 2 miles from headquarters there. That's super cool by both of those, Alexis and Michaela.
Absolutely awesome. My brothers coming on through there in sixth, followed up by Ariel Verharen, and then it's going to be Kirsten Catronis, followed up by Carissa Min. Good to see the men out there, and then Katie Harrer. Absolutely awesome job there. Loving to hear about the households and the background information on all of, and how they're racing from home together to in amongst the USA Cycling Series. Absolutely great story there.
Yeah, they were at Cyclocross Nationals over in Tacoma, Washington, where we met them earlier this year. Looks like even the D women, Nathan, is that? Or is this the C women that we're looking at here?
D women.
D, I apologize. Mariana Rinaldo. Mariana, you're the gold standard. That's got to feel great. Scottish rider Mary Whitehead is going to be silver standard. And then Emma Jimenez taking the bronze medal with Elizabeth DeWitt in fourth. And Cam Sutawand. Cam, big fan, Palmares racing rider, in fifth.
Nice job out there. Now taking a quick look. Let's see if we got the B category, and then we'll be done for the day. It does look like they have gotten across the line. Christy Brinker, Freya Smith, followed up by B. Imlach, and then Whitney Post, Janine Seeger, followed up by Jessica McWirt, Monica Merced for Phenom, Thea Freestead. Good to see Thea ODZ in the house. And then it's going to be Melinda Lehman, out there with a 52.59 for ninth place. So that's going to be it for us, everybody, on the USA Cycling Series race number 8. Dave, 2 more races to go, and the series looks to be, in the women's side of things for the A category, really solidified with Lauren. Just kind of, she's been really dominating. So we're racing, I think, for second in a lot of places. The men's racing seems to be a little bit more up in the air with the Dropouts team losing their all-star in the race here with Boniface so far. We'll see if he can come back in weeks to come. But I think there's an open spot at the top there.
He's got to love seeing Pedersen win some more points that he doesn't really have to worry about so much. It's going to be.
That's a good point.
It wasn't his biggest danger, man, that won today. So, Brett, and we should give a shout out. Brett Boniface is a big star out here. I know a lot of people follow Brett. So, Brett, hoping you're doing okay out there. We missed you, that's for sure. Brett, one of the big animators. But, boy, they sure stepped up today. Guys like Cormac McGee getting onto the podium. The 17-year-old Vigo Moore continues to impress. Nathan, I am in love with this series. A huge thank you to Saris and the Pros Closet for supporting USA Cycling in this effort. Wow, what a great day. And I can't believe that was 8 of 10. We only have 2 of these left. We're going to need to renew our contract. Let's do it 10 more times.
10 more times. Sounds lots of comments coming on through here. Zach Harrod said, well worth a shot. Chris Min saying, ouch, that hurt. We're hearing from Bevan saying, fair play to Peterson. Couldn't touch him. We're also hearing that Manalee Keller, to be keeping an eye out. Tony Valens saying keep an eye out for Keller. She's up there and has been in other races here as well. And so a lot of shout outs actually for the team Revo. So good to see Revo hanging out here. George Mears-Keeling, nice job out there, and thanks for streaming your race. We do see all your comments. We appreciate everybody jumping into there. If you haven't done so already, here on Zwift Community Live, we are live on Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, as well as Facebook. Hit that follow button for every time that we do go live. We'll be back for the WTRL tomorrow. Dave, one of the coolest events every single week, the team time trial. And as far as community goes, I think it's one of those races that really brings community. You know, you're in these scratch races and you have a team that you're working for, but it still is about the individual result across the line. This is so different. Sure. And where it's the team result across the line, Dave.
Yeah, come race with and against 3,000 of your best friends. It's a phenomenon, no doubt about it. I think, didn't we decide it was 10 different waves of racing that goes on throughout the day? Our friends like the Celtic Queen. It's insane. It really is. It's a movement of the people here on Zwift. So, Nathan, thanks again. You're such a great host. Such an enjoyable day.
Yep. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for the TTT. As always, everybody. Right on.